Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Fall Jersey. Joe Archino back here. Chelsea sits at the top of the Premier League with a comfortable 60 points, 8 points ahead of everyone else. But the just competitiveness from 2 to 6 in the Premier League really is remarkable and is a testament to why it is the greatest league in the world. And obviously Manchester City is in second place now with 62 points, 8 points behind Chelsea, but only 2 points ahead of third place Spurs. Spurs are in third with 50 points, then Arsenal trails them with 50 points. Liverpool is just 1 point behind Arsenal in fifth with 49 points. And then Manchester United in 6th place, 1 point behind Liverpool, 48 points for them. But I think the question that everyone kind of has on their mind now is, which club out of these five after Chelsea has the best chance to potentially catch Chelsea? And I use the word potentially because I don't think that anyone really has a great capability to catch Chelsea, just because of how well coached Chelsea is under Antonio Conte, and moving forward, you just don't see a lot of opportunities for them where they're going to drop a lot of points. But I think the question would have been easy before this week, and that would have been Manchester City Football Club, especially with the emergence of Gabriel Jesus and how great he has been. But of course, Jesus has gone down with a significant injury that very well could keep him out the rest of the season. 3 months of rehab, basically, is what he has in store for him. I've seen some reports that are hopeful, putting him at maybe coming back at the earliest the last month of the season, but I do think that's slightly wishful thinking. Most likely, he will not take the pitch again this season, at least for in the Premier League. But I think when you look at it, for Gabriel Jesus and what he has meant to Manchester City, he has rejuvenated the club, and I think there's a couple of different things that have helped Manchester City get back on track a little bit, but you look at nothing more than what he has meant in the spark and energy he has brought to that club. And I mean, I don't need to tell anybody who's listening to this. I mean, you know how much talent there is on Manchester City's roster, how much money is put into that club, how many big expectations come from those players. But Jesus just took to the Premier League like it was nothing, and he was sensational. I think all of that just makes it even more disappointing that now we've kind of been robbed of seeing him grow and play even more. I mean, he's a 19-year-old who's come into the league and just he looks like he's right at home, and I think most certainly he has a great career ahead of him, but it's disappointing to see. But more than anything now, I really think it pretty much shuts the door on anyone catching Chelsea. And I'll tell you why. I think the Spurs, obviously Tottenham, would have had a chance. They've got 50 points. They're 2 back behind Manchester City. But more than anything to me, there's just not that level of consistency with Tottenham that you need, I think, to win that title. And we saw last season, and we'll go to the next club, Arsenal. I think it's the same thing with Arsenal. We just saw Arsenal get thrashed to Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So you know now that the talk is going to heat up more than ever about Arsene Wenger's future there. I certainly think at the end of the day, he won't be back next season. There comes a point where you have nothing left to defend yourself with. And I think Arsene Wenger last year was a perfect example when Leicester City was able to win the title. You don't take anything away from what Leicester City was able to do, but if there was a season where he was going to be able to calm things down and win the title, that should have been it. But it wasn't the year, as the story continues. Liverpool in 5th, I think, certainly is an interesting one. Jurgen Klopp has beaten Conte's side earlier in the season. Now, they played against each other twice. Chelsea drawed the second time around, and they beat Chelsea early in the season, the first go-around. But I think Liverpool is one of those dangerous clubs where you could make a case for them doing it, but at the same time, they drop these points here and there and have these very questionable performances here and there that just have you raising your eyebrow a lot of times. And then United in 6th, I think, is one of those clubs where you just want to see how they finish at the end, but I think they're still a club in transition, really figuring themselves out under Jose Mourinho. But to me, the only club that it could have been was Manchester City with a healthy Gabriel Jesus. You just look at what he was able to do, and we look ahead for Manchester City a little bit. They've got some tough matches in the month of March and April. I mean, they've got a clash against Liverpool, they've got a clash against Arsenal, and they've got a clash against Chelsea. So obviously, doing something big against Chelsea would do themselves many favors, but I just don't think that we could come to expect much from that game. At most, Chelsea's probably going to go into that match with the mindset of walking away with just trying to sit back and defend and not be super aggressive, and why wouldn't they be? But I think in a match of that magnitude, you have to certainly give Chelsea an edge based on what they've already done against Manchester City at the Etihad this season. But also, at the same time, you do have to respect Jesus and what he's been able to do, and I think, I was really excited to do these segments and ask the question, can City do it? Can they make that push forward and really put the pressure on Chelsea? And the more and more you were watching Gabriel Jesus and the way City started to play and find themselves again like their perfect start to the season, and never forget the start they had, 6 wins from 6. Pep Guardiola's side looked like they would run through the Premier League, and then we know that as the league kind of got going, things got much more difficult, and there was a lot of uneasy times for Pep Guardiola's side this season, but then it seemed like things started to come back, and now with the injury of Gabriel Jesus, we're really not sure how City will respond. They did respond with a 2-0 win the other day at Bournemouth, but of course Jesus was injured in that game. But I think more than anything, City is still going to be able to be very competitive, of course. You just know that they are with the talent that they have, and certainly they've been defending much better. Now that Willy Caballero has been put behind in goal, their goalie keeping ability has been improved much more as well. And look, I mean, I was one of the people who supported the decision at the beginning of the season. I understood why Pep Guardiola wanted to send Joe Hart packing and wanted Claudio Bravo in there, but some guys just can't make the adjustment to the Premier League, and Claudio Bravo, I think based on everything we've seen, you can see very easily he has not been able to make that transition. But that is going to do it for this segment, everyone. If you think Chelsea is in the driver's seat moving forward and can't be caught, let me know. If you think City, even without Gabriel Jesus, can still make the push, you better comment down below as well. Or if you think Tottenham, if you think Arsenal, Liverpool, or United can make the great push forward, well, you just have to tell me why you think that. But until the next time, everyone, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody in the next episode.